Who's actually going to get the most out of Fujifilm's new XM5, and who would be better off putting that money toward a different system? Is the price justified for a photographer who just wants solid snapshots, or does it only make sense for someone who's already thinking about video, AI-driven autofocus, and swapping lenses on a regular basis? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Those are the questions that keep most of us up at night before we click add to cart, because buying a camera isn't just about megapixels, it's about how it fits into the way you actually shoot. I've spent the last few weeks taking the XM5 out of the box and into everyday life, from a crowded city market in the evening to a weekend hike where I was the one chasing sunrise light. The first thing I noticed is that the body feels lighter than the X-T5 I used before, but the grip still gives enough confidence when you're holding it for a long stretch. That matters when you're moving between subjects and you don't want the camera to feel like a weightlifting session. The biggest hesitation most buyers have is whether the new AI-based subject detection really works in real time, or if it's just marketing hype. In practice, the hybrid autofocus locks onto faces and moving subjects faster than my old mirrorless, and the AI detection even spots animals in the frame without me having to manually select a focus point. That speed is a practical strength when you're photographing kids at a birthday party or a street performer who's only in the scene for a second. Low-light performance is another common worry. The XM5's 26.1 megapixel APS-C X-trans sensor pairs with the X processor 5, which translates to less noise at higher ISO numbers. On a dimly lit restaurant patio, I was able to shoot at ISO 6400 and still retain good color fidelity without the grain you'd see on a less capable sensor. The downside is that the camera doesn't have in-body image stabilization, IBIS, so you still need a lens with optical stabilization or a tripod for anything slower than 160s handheld. If you're a traveler who likes to capture handheld nightscapes, that missing IBIS could be a deal-breaker. One of the biggest practical considerations for anyone looking at a mirrorless system is the lens ecosystem. Fujifilm's X-mount has a solid lineup of prime and zoom lenses, many of which are known for their beautiful color rendering and compact size. The XM5 accepts all existing X-mount lenses, which means if you already own a few Fujifilm lenses, you can drop this body into your bag without buying new glass. However, if you're starting from scratch, the price of quality Fujifilm lenses adds up quickly. For a hobbyist who just wants a versatile walk-around lens, the 18-55mm kit is decent, but you'll soon feel the limitation if you want a fast portrait prime or a dedicated macro. That's a weakness you have to weigh against the camera's cost. The touchscreen is a 3-inch fully articulating LCD that flips out to the side, which makes it a surprisingly good tool for vloggers or anyone who wants to frame themselves while recording. The high-resolution video mode goes up to 6.2K at 30p with 10-bit internal recording, a feature that's overkill for most casual shooters but a real boon for creators who need that extra detail for post-production grading. The trade-off is that the video menu is a bit deeper than you might like. You have to dig through a few layers to change frame rates or bit depth. It's not a fatal flaw, but it adds a few seconds of friction when you're trying to switch settings on the fly. Battery life on mirrorless cameras is often a source of anxiety, and the XM5 is no exception. It uses a 1600 mAh battery that, according to Fujifilm's own tests, gets you around 400 shots per charge. In real life, that held up for a full day of shooting street photography with occasional video clips, but the moment you start using the LCD constantly for framing or playback, the number drops noticeably. If you're planning long shoots or travel days without access to power, you'll probably want a spare battery on hand. On the other hand, the built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth make transferring images to a phone quick, which can offset the need to review on the camera's screen and save a little juice. So who should actually buy the XM5? If you're a hobbyist who already loves Fujifilm's color science, has a couple of X-mount lenses, and wants a compact body that can handle both stills and serious video, this camera hits a sweet spot. It's also a solid option for creators who are just stepping into video work. The 6.2K footage and articulating screen give you a lot of creative freedom without forcing you into a larger cinema-grade rig. Beginners who are still figuring out what they need in a camera might find the price a bit steep, especially since they'll also need to invest in lenses to get the